Welcome back to the WCS America's Challenger League Qualifier. We're here in an Incontrol versus Pig match. Game number 1, Pig took it down with some early zerglings.
Well, hopefully Incontrol can come back in game number 2 here, so we get a game number 3, and that's just what everybody wants, is 3 games out of a best of 3. So guys, let's get right on into this game. This is going to be game number 2 here, and we're going to be going on to Belcher Vestige.
I think this map is going to be a little bit better for Incontrol, of course. You know, what played a big factor last game is that he didn't get the correct scout right away, so by the time he identified the early pool from Pig, you know, he didn't really have quite as much reaction time as ideally he'd have. So this map, you know, I don't think we'll see him fall down to that early pool again.
Unless you accidentally scout the wrong position, which doesn't exist on this map. But hey, you know what? You're in a tournament, you're a little bit, you know, shaken up after game number 1. Maybe you think there's 4 positions on Belcher Vestige. These things, they happened. They've happened before. So anyway, guys, spawning up here in the top left-hand corner from Team Evil Geniuses, our red Protoss player, it is Incontrol.
And of course, over on the bottom right section of the map, we have his opponent, the WCS Australian champion, Pig.
Pig is just such a hard name to really introduce, right? It's just one of those short names. There's just 2 hard consonants on it. There's no, you can't really stretch it out.
You know, short names are good though, because
true.
I think it's more intimidating to your opponent. If your opponent can't like constantly remember and even or pronounce your name, if they're trying to figure out what's this guy's name, they're not going to be as intimidated as a person who's like, oh, it's that guy.
Now let me counter your point. We're on the NA bracket, so as soon as you see a Korean name, that's when you start getting a little bit intimidated.
That is true. That is true. As soon as you see, you know, Tasia, Hyun, those guys.
Tasia, Hyun, yeah, when those start popping up in these brackets. So anyway, we have pretty standard pool coming out here from Pig. He's not going to be going for the 10 pool once again. Couldn't agree anymore here. But that 10 pool definitely created an awesome game number 1.
It did. You know, it's a very popular strategy on Whirlwind or even earlier pools. A lot of the top Zergs on Whirlwind use the early spawn pools just because it's such a big map with 4 spawns. And, you know, there's some people say the bigger map, shouldn't an earlier rush not be as good? Well, actually, in Zerg vs. Protoss, it's better because it's all about hoping your opponent doesn't scout it. And the bigger the map is, the less likely they'll be to scout that out in time.
Exactly. So here we have Incontrol, this time not going for Forge first, he's going to go for Nexus first, which is, yet again, another really good decision here. I mean, he already got in, he scattered off, he saw the spawning pool timing, so he's going to be completely safe. Now, of course, going for Forge first, you're going to be giving up a lot of the map control to Zerg. That's going to allow Pig to have a little bit more leniency here and deciding on what kind of tech path he wants to go for.
Yes, yes. Of course, both players know exactly what each other is doing in Control. Trying to block the hatchery for a little bit, but Pig does get it down. Of course, Probe takes a couple too many hits on him as he's trying to block that hatchery and has to retreat. You see Incontrol here getting the cannon before the gases. So recognizing his opponent did get that pool at 14. It wasn't a 15 or a 16 pool. So we're going to get that cannon before he techs up. You know, just second pylon cannon. A lot of Protoss players you'll see get the gateway first and just try to push that cannon back as far as possible. But Incontrol knows the timing of the Zergling so perfectly, cannon gets up just in time.
Wow, and so does that gateway. The Zergling were gunning for that giant hole in the wall, but unfortunately Incontrol just a little bit too snappy with his probe control, was able to throw the gateway down just in time. I think that Zerg was just barely a square away.
Perfect timing there by Incontrol, following us up with 2 assimilators. On the other hand, we have Pig. His expansion's now finished. He has, you know, a queen over there, a second queen just about to pop out of that main. He's actually getting a gas relatively early. I mean, this is getting more and more standard in Heart of the Storm. Wings of Liberty, Zerg almost always went for that very fast third hatchery. But here we have Pig going for the speedlings fairly quickly.
And you know what? I completely agree with that. I mean, he's already got the map control from Incontrol, considering map control from Incontrol, that's a tongue twister. Given that, you know, Incontrol went for the Forge Fast Expand, but, you know, you just want to solidify that type of map control. You want to be able to have any type of units available in case this does turn into a gateway timing push. And since he doesn't really have too much information on the gas timings in the main base and anything like that, and he only has actually vision of one of those gases.
He might lose this. He does lose a pylon. That is not something you want to lose early on.
The Zergling get in, they're going to run around, and they're going to find exactly what's going on here. He's going to count the gas and make sure, we'll at least get a good idea of the timing of the gases here. And that's going to help him just even more be able to solidify what kind of build Incontrol's going for.
Seeing the exact amount of gas, getting a second probe. These Zerglings are so effective. You know, last game, Incontrol just got destroyed by Zerglings, and Pig's like, well, it worked last game, you know, let's just keep doing this little bit of Zergling damage. Of course, he didn't even commit to it. He didn't even, like, he didn't get a lot of Zerglings early. He just got a couple, and he was still able to get a lot of damage done. And now it's up to Incontrol to really push out across the map and try to equalize things. He's going to use that Mothership Core to scout his opponent because he knows there's no third base quite yet. Pylon's down there keeping tabs on that.
Now, the one thing I want to note here is that Incontrol just barely didn't see the Speedling upgrade finish here on those Zergling. And, well, now he's going to see it now. But I was going to say, you know, that's just one of those little things of if you see the Speedlings, you know it's not going to be some sort of huge Roach push immediately. You're not going to have to deal with 4 more Roaches or what have you. You know, just again, it's just more of just taking note of where that gas is going for Zerg and just being able to figure out exactly what he's doing so you know exactly what you're doing. Now, here comes that Mothership, loses all of its shields and just decides, all right, fine, all right, I'll leave. Cool. Jeez, man.
Gets that very important scouting, though. I believe it did see those Evo Chambers, and that should tell him exactly what the build Pig is doing. If your opponent has double Evo Chambers and they're not taking a fast third, they're going to be going for that Ultralisk Rush build. Of course, we've seen this in the top levels of Korea, Europe, America. It's becoming very popular for Zerg now in Heart Swarm to really try to rush those upgrades and tech straight to Ultralisk.
Oh, yes. We were watching Jaedong do that a ton 2 weeks ago, and it was just absolutely amazing to watch a Protoss destroy huge robo-facility armies for Protoss with nothing more than just Zergling. And, of course, the Jaedong would be one of the people who's really good at that. Mothership Core now just harassing the third base. Not going to do that much. That sound sounds so incredibly intimidating, but it's actually just a little weaker than a Sentry, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, slightly more damage, faster attack rate,
yeah,
but not, you know, not going to be able to take down the hatchery. The Queen is going to be able to chase it away. Of course, if a Mothership Core is at full life, it can take on a Queen one-on-one off creep if the Queen can't kite around it. But this Mothership Core is already weakened from its earlier scouting, so it's going to run away from that Queen.
Oh, and Incontrol went for a Warp Prism, but a single Zergling spotted it. The Zergling was taken out by a Zealot that was in the Warp Prism, but now the Warp Prism play is completely known to Pig. Pig is going to be totally ready for this.
He is. Dark Shrine is on the way, though, so there could be a potential DT follow-up later down the road that could do a lot of damage. Pig has that squad of Speedlings waiting in his main. One is about to finish, so I don't see this Warp Prism getting too much damage done. And
not only that, but the Overseer for Pig sees the Dark Templar Shrine. So he's going to know exactly what's going on here for Incontrol. And this is just more and more for Incontrol to be a little bit behind where Pig is. I mean, Pig has got some incredible scouting information on Incontrol, whereas Incontrol's not as much so on Pig.
This game really hasn't been going Incontrol's way. With the amount of tech Pig has, actually Pig's doing a little bit of a tech switch. After 1-1, instead of going for an Ultras, he's getting Roach Speed and getting the range attack instead of level 2 Carapace. So this could be a reaction to the fact that Incontrol hasn't taken a third base yet, and so Pig is worried that Incontrol might be coming after him with some type of timing.
Right, I mean, he's got +1 range weapons as well as +2. I mean, this is not really what you really want to do with your upgrades, is separate into different paths, but when you're put into a position like you just mentioned, you have to, you know, be ready for any type of huge timing pushes involving upgrades. But here comes Pig with a whole bunch of Zerglings. He's going to actually target down the Nexus. Is he going to be able to get it? A couple of Force Fields do go down, but the cancel does go down, so Incontrol...
Can Incontrol trap the Zerglings?
Gets a couple of them.
Not really what he wanted, though.
No.
If he could have trapped those Speedlings, it definitely would have made losing the Nexus worth it. Unfortunately, the bulk get away. Pig takes another victory. Incontrol's got to find a way to get himself back in this game.
He does have that that Warp Prism over here in the corner. It looks like it wants to do something. It's not exactly sure just yet. It looks like he's going to go straight for Zealots. He's not going to go for the Dark Shrine tech that he had before. And once again, the Zergling just kind of poking in. They take like 1 or 2 losses, but nothing really too significant.
Pig has no defenses in his main, just a single Queen. Incontrol can also see that Hive tech timing, knowing his opponent's going for the Hive units, warping in more and more Zealots. Pig speeding so they get back right across the map very, very fast. Incontrol's got to put those Zealots in a choke point where they can avoid being surrounded by the Speedlings.
Oh, they do get surrounded, though, and it looks like they're going to take out a lot of these Zerglings, but not enough to really make it too worth it. But, of course, what this really gets Incontrol here is the time to throw down that third base. It's already halfway done. He just has to last a little bit longer. He's making a huge wall involving photon cannons, gateways, and just about everything else that he could possibly throw into a wall. Very makeshift wall here, but of course you want to stop those Zergling from being able to come in from a corner you don't expect.
Definitely do. That's such an important part of the strategy Pig is using is those speeding run bys. Of course, Incontrol's third, it's late enough that I think he's going to have to either hardcore Turtle to develop a counter to detect that Pig is going for it, whether it's Broodlords or Ultralisk, or he's going to have to try to hit time before the tech comes out. But I think that time is closing. He's not going to have the range for the Colossus out in time if he starts moving out right now. And if he waits even another minute, that Hive Tech is going to be up and ready.
And not only Hive Tech, but we already see a Spire coming down here. He's got the +3 melee weapons on the way as well for his ground units. So we're going to be seeing Pig go straight on into Broodlords behind this. He's got so many gases. Look, he's already at the 7 o'clock position over here, and he's just worrying about the gas. He doesn't even care at all about the minerals. He's just going straight for that gas. We're definitely going to be seeing a very high-tech army coming out here from Pig as soon as he gets that Hive Tech up.
It looks like it's not going to be Ultralisk. Still no Ultralisk Cavern going straight for that Greater Spire. Can Incontrol spot this?
That is going to be one of the key moments here. I mean, he does still have that Warp Prism. The Warp Prism's just kind of hanging out. It's not really doing that much. I think if you use it a little bit more and at least just got that Zealot to go scout around, it would be definitely worth his while so he could get ready for this type of play. 7 Corruptors already out. Well, sorry, on the way out. I'm getting ahead of myself already. For Pig, and once those start to come out, okay, here comes that Warp Prism. Hopefully Incontrol can see this in time.
Can he get the important scouting done off? Too many speedings. He's not back far enough in the base. Is he actually going to continue to warp in units? That Warp Prism has got to get out of there. The Queen is eventually going to take it down. And yet another failed Warp Prism Ras by Incontrol. Greater Spire's moments from completion, and really, ideally, to counter that, you would get up to those Tempests. But Incontrol's not going to have time to get that tech up. I don't even think he's going to have Blink.
Now here's the really smart thing, I'm not sure if it was on purpose or not, but Pig didn't engage that Warp Prism with any of the Corruptors. So Incontrol has zero idea that there is a Spire and a Greater Spire out there. All he's got right now is a couple of Stalkers, really not enough to deal with the amount of Broodlords that I think we're going to see come out here from Pig. 7 already on the way.
Incontrol's not going to have an answer to those gigantic Doom flying units called the Broodlords, but what he can do maybe is he can try to use his mobility. Broodlords are a little slow. If he can try to strike maybe along the left side with his main army, Warp Prism in the right, he might be able to get some damage done.
Now he is just kind of poking in here, in and about. He's trying to take out as many of these Creep Tumors as possible. A huge bunch of Zergling are going to surround that Zealot, but once again, just barely showing the Spire tech right now with the Corruptor. And a couple, Zergling does scout out that position over here for Incontrol, the new base, as it's warping in. But once again, Incontrol still doesn't have any type of anti-air here. He's got only a couple of sentries and 2 Stalkers. Now finally getting a couple of Archons, though.
Starting Blink Tech, starting double Stargates, Incontrol's trying to transition into something that can deal with the air units. In the meantime, though, he's going to have to find a way to keep Pig's army at bay.
And this is the really scary point. He has to try and out-tech the amount of time it takes Broodlords to get across the map. And unfortunately, he found that out as the Broodlords were halfway across the map. A beautiful fungal growth going down there. Is he going to be able to grab the Immortal here? Another fungal growth does go down. A couple of Zealots and possibly the Immortal. No, the Immortal is going to get away. More and more Stalkers coming in.
Incontrol's trying to get Pig to back up. He's attacking into the natural with Zealots. He's positioned to warp in more Zealots into the main. Meanwhile, Pig takes out the right side base with speeding, so the Broodlords continue to march into Incontrol's natural.
And the Speedlings are running into the main. Pig is assaulting the natural with his Broodlords, and there's just not that many places that Incontrol can go. He's going to go straight on into Pig's territory, hopefully trying to turn this into a base race, but I don't think this is going to work out for Incontrol. I think he's actually going to lose the game here if he's not able to completely take out all of the bases here for Pig quicker than Pig can take out his base. And with Speedlings, and I believe they also have adrenal glands. Yes, they do. It's going to be a little bit difficult.
Definitely going to be very difficult for Incontrol. Of course, he's down to his single base on the top right, that third base. He's very intelligent. He's splitting up his army to multiple parts to try to take out as many of Pig's bases as fast as possible. And he's going to take out the bases, but I don't think he can kill the buildings. And so it's going to come down to an army versus army battle. And that's not one Incontrol can really win unless he can somehow catch Pig's army off guard and ambush the Broodlords without the Infestors supporting them.
So now if Incontrol was Terran, he'd be able to lift off his building, since there's only a single Corruptor out there. Actually, no, that Corruptor just turned into a Broodlord. So there wouldn't be anything to be able to get that, but unfortunately, because he's Protoss, he doesn't have the ability to escape a ground army like this, and those Zergling are just far too good at completely decimating bases in seconds.
Incontrol's taking out the 4th of his opponent. If he needs a few zealots to finish that, actually, he's going to finish it off with his whole army. He needs to get his army back to protect his hatchery on the right, or Nexus, excuse me, on the right side of the map. That's going to be where he's going to make the final stand. If he can defend it, he can still take this game. It's going to come down to army versus army, but so many Broodlords and Infestors. If Pig lands at cracked Fungals, Incontrol is going to have a very tough time getting through into the Broodlord ranks.
And even trying to get into the Broodlord ranks, he also has to kill all the Broodlords as well, and he's got as many Stalkers as Pig has got Broodlords, so that's going to be a very difficult battle, but I think Incontrol is doing enough damage that he's at least throwing himself into the possibility of surviving this game.
It is a possibility. In fact, actually, if you look at it, he's taken out a hatchery with some zealots in the middle of the base. There's only one hatchery left on the far right side beside the main base of Pig. The question is, can he get to that hatchery? What can he do to stop Pig from just camping that and rebuilding drones?
And the really difficult question here is whether or not he's going to be able to find all the extractors as well. So he has to kill the hatchery, wait for the reveal, and then kill all the extractors, because Pig has just been littering every single one of Incontrol's old bases with extractors, as well as I believe he has one down in the natural base that he had before.
Oh no, Pig's found the Nexus on the right side of the map. Incontrol's got to build another building quickly. That Nexus and the pylons over there fall. Those are his last structures. Or remember, he has a pylon on the left side as well.
He's just got to spread it out. He's just got to last long enough. I mean, look at the food supply count right now. It's 72 to 89. It's actually so close right now. It's just whether or not he can outlast this army and he can do enough damage. Now, there is that hatchery going up over here, and there's the hatchery that's already finished over here at the 2 o'clock position. But that's not going to reveal, that's going to stop Incontrol from seeing that reveal.
Incontrol, very intelligently splitting up his forces to cover as much ground as possible. Of course, the more he splits his forces up and spreads them around, ideally he's going to find as many of Pig's buildings as possible, and that's the first step to taking them out.
And here comes the Broodlords. They're going to catch at least 1 Colossus and 2 Immortals, and that is going to be a huge loss for Incontrol here. We're going to watch that food supply plummet after seeing those go down, and look at how many Broodlings spawn out from that huge Broodlord army.
Oh no, Incontrol only has a single pylon left on the left side of the map, and he is revealed. Pig knows about this. Speedlings are poised to take out that pylon. There's nothing defending it. If Incontrol loses that, he's going to be eliminated.
And there goes the pylon, and the GG is thrown down. Incontrol is taken out 2-0 by Pig.
Wow. Convincing play by the Australian player Pig. I know a lot of people over there in Australia cheering this guy on because I think in this qualifier, I think he may be the only Australian in it.
I would assume so, considering this is North American. But, you know, you never know. I believe there is a couple more of Oceania that are in this. I know Jigua is also from China, so, you know, we have a couple more from that area. But hopefully, you know, we're going to get into a couple of more good games. We're going to take a quick commercial break. I'm Sham2.
And I am Max. I will see you guys in just a minute.